A wildlife ranger, dedicated to protecting these magnificent beasts, suddenly collapses. His life hangs in the balance, surrounded by the very lions he guards. But instead of the expected, something profoundly unexpected and incredibly moving unfolds. Witness the breathtaking moment. These powerful animals reveal an unbelievable capacity for aid, forever changing how you see them. Before we start, don't forget to subscribe to the channel, like this video, and turn on notifications to catch more heartwarming stories like this one. Deep in the heart of Kenya's Masai Mara, where the golden savanna stretches endlessly toward the horizon, lived a man whose very presence could calm the wildest of beasts. Meet Daniel Hayes, a 42-year-old wildlife ranger whose weathered hands and sun-kissed face told the story of 2 decades spent in the African wilderness. Daniel wasn't just any ranger. He was known throughout the region as the Lion Whisperer, though he'd laugh at that title, insisting he was simply a man who understood that respect was a two-way street, even with apex predators. Every morning for the past 15 years, Daniel would venture into the territory of the Mara Pride, a family of 12 lions that had become as familiar to him as his own reflection. The Pride was led by a magnificent male named Caesar, a 400-pound giant with a mane so thick and dark it seemed to absorb the African sun. Alongside him ruled his mate Luna, a sleek huntress whose amber eyes held wisdom beyond her years. Their cubs, now adolescents learning the ways of the wild, completed this regal family that Daniel had watched grow and thrive under his protection. But Daniel's relationship with these lions went far beyond mere observation. He had saved Caesar's life when the lion was just a wounded cub, nursing him back to health after a territorial fight. He had helped Luna through a difficult birth that could have cost her life. Each member of the Pride carried memories of Daniel's gentle care, his patient presence during their most vulnerable moments. On what seemed like an ordinary Tuesday morning in March, Daniel set out for his daily patrol. The sun painted the savanna in shades of amber and gold, and the familiar sounds of the African bush created nature's own symphony. He felt particularly good that day. The rains had been generous, prey was abundant, and his beloved Pride was thriving. As Daniel approached the Pride's favorite resting spot beneath a cluster of acacia trees, something felt different. The lions were more alert than usual, their heads raised, ears twitching with an unusual restlessness. Caesar stood at the edge of the group, his massive frame tense as he scanned the horizon. Daniel called out his usual greeting, a low, rumbling sound that he had perfected over the years to announce his peaceful presence. The lions recognized his voice immediately. Luna lifted her head, her golden eyes meeting his with the familiarity of an old friend. The younger lions stretched and yawned, some approaching with the casual confidence of creatures who had never known this human as anything but a protector. But as Daniel walked closer, something went terribly wrong. The world began to spin. His vision blurred at the edges, and a crushing pain exploded across his chest. Daniel stumbled, his legs betraying him as his body fought against an unseen enemy. He was having a massive heart attack, miles from any medical help, surrounded by 12 of Africa's most powerful predators. As Daniel collapsed onto the red earth, his radio slipping from his failing grasp, a terrible silence fell over the savanna. The man who had spent his life protecting these magnificent creatures now lay helpless and vulnerable, his breathing shallow and labored. What happened next defied every instinct, every natural law that governs the relationship between predator and prey, between wild and civilized. Caesar was the first to react. Instead of the aggressive territorial behavior you might expect, the massive lion approached Daniel with careful, deliberate steps. His enormous paws, capable of crushing bone, moved with surprising gentleness as he sniffed the air around the fallen ranger. Then, in a moment that would have seemed impossible if not witnessed by the hidden cameras Daniel had installed to monitor the Pride, Caesar did something extraordinary. He lay down beside Daniel, positioning his warm, powerful body against the ranger's side. The lion's deep, rumbling purr, a sound that could be felt as much as heard, began to resonate through Daniel's chest. Luna joined her mate, settling on Daniel's other side. One by one, the entire pride formed a protective circle around their fallen guardian. The younger lions pressed close, their combined body heat creating a natural blanket of warmth. The oldest lioness, named Zara, positioned herself at Daniel's head, her steady breathing creating a rhythm that seemed to encourage his own laboring lungs to keep fighting. For 3 hours, as the African sun climbed higher in the cloudless sky, the pride maintained their vigil. They took turns grooming Daniel's hair with the same gentle licks they used to clean their own cubs. When vultures circled overhead, Caesar's thunderous roar sent them fleeing. When wild dogs approached, curious about the unusual gathering, the pride formed an impenetrable barrier of muscle and fang. What the lions were doing seemed to defy logic, but there was profound wisdom in their actions. The warmth of their bodies helped maintain Daniel's core temperature as shock threatened to shut down his systems. Their purring, a frequency between 20 and 50 hertz, has been scientifically proven to promote healing, reduce blood pressure, and even strengthen bones. More remarkably, their collective presence seemed to regulate Daniel's heart rhythm. The steady, powerful heartbeats of 12 lions created a natural pacemaker, their synchronized breathing helping to keep his own respiratory system functioning. It was as if the pride had become a living life support system, their wild instincts transformed into something resembling advanced medical care. As the hours passed, Daniel drifted in and out of consciousness. In his lucid moments, he felt the warmth surrounding him, heard the protective sounds of his feline family, and understood with crystal clarity that these lions were choosing to save his life, just as he had chosen to dedicate his to protecting theirs. Meanwhile, back at the ranger station, Daniel's absence had been noted. When he failed to respond to radio calls, his colleague Sarah Mitchell organized a search party. Using GPS tracking from Daniel's equipment, they pinpointed his last known location and raced across the savannah in their rugged vehicles. What Sarah and her team discovered when they crested the hill overlooking the pride's territory would be burned into their memories forever. There, in a scene that seemed torn from the pages of an impossible fairy tale, lay Daniel surrounded by the protective circle of lions. "I've seen a lot of things in 20 years of wildlife work," Sarah would later say, her tears streaming down her weathered face, "but nothing absolutely prepared me for that moment. It was like witnessing a miracle written in fur and fang." The rescue presented an unprecedented challenge. How do you approach a pride of wild lions to rescue someone they're clearly protecting? Sarah made the decision to approach slowly, speaking in the same calm tones she had learned from Daniel himself. Remarkably, the lions seemed to understand. As the medical team drew near, the pride gradually moved back, though they remained close, watching with what could only be described as concern. Daniel was airlifted to Nairobi Hospital in critical condition. The doctors were amazed, not just that he survived a massive heart attack in the wilderness, but that his vital signs showed remarkable stability for someone who had been without medical intervention for hours. Dr. Patricia Williams, the cardiologist who treated Daniel, couldn't explain it medically. She told reporters, "By all accounts, he should have died out there. Something kept his body functioning long enough for us to intervene. The temperature regulation, the steady heart rhythm we detected, it's as if he had a natural support system maintaining his life functions." During his recovery, Daniel shared his incredible story. He spoke of feeling the lions' warmth, hearing their protective sounds, and experiencing a profound sense of safety, even in his most vulnerable moment. The pride, he explained, had simply returned the love and protection he had given them for so many years.
Dr. Richard Bennett, an animal behaviorist from Oxford University, flew to Kenya to study the pride's behavior. What we witnessed here, he explained, goes beyond instinct or learned behavior. These lions demonstrated emotional intelligence, empathy, and decision-making that suggests a far deeper understanding of their relationship with this human than we ever thought possible. The incident sparked new research into human-animal bonds and led to revolutionary changes in wildlife conservation approaches. Rangers around the world began to reconsider their relationships with the animals they protected, understanding that true conservation might be less about maintaining distance and more about building mutual respect and understanding. 3 months after his heart attack, Daniel returned to the Masai Mara, his chest bearing the scars of life-saving surgery, but his spirit stronger than ever. The reunion with his pride was emotional beyond words. Caesar approached first, his massive head gently butting against Daniel's chest in a gesture of greeting and recognition. Luna rubbed against his legs, purring with an intensity that vibrated through his entire body. The younger lions, now fully grown, surrounded their human friend with playful energy, as if celebrating his return from a long journey. Even the cameras couldn't capture the full magic of that moment, the invisible bonds of trust and affection that connected one man to a family of Africa's most powerful predators. Daniel's recovery led him to establish the Guardian Hearts Foundation, a nonprofit organization dedicated to supporting rangers and their families while promoting the revolutionary conservation approach he had accidentally discovered. The foundation's motto, inspired by his experience, reads, "In protecting them, we discover they protect us too." This incredible story reveals something profound about the world we share with wild animals. For too long, we've seen ourselves as separate from nature, as controllers rather than participants in the grand web of life that connects all living beings. Daniel's experience shows us that when we approach wildlife with genuine respect, patience, and love, we discover that these magnificent creatures are capable of responses that mirror our own deepest emotions. The lions didn't save Daniel because they were trained to do so, or because they expected a reward. They saved him because in their own wild way, they loved him back. Today, Daniel continues his work in the Masai Mara, though he now carries medication and wears a heart monitor that connects him to emergency services. The pride that saved his life has grown, with Luna giving birth to 2 more cubs who have never known a world without their gentle human guardian. Visitors from around the world come to witness the extraordinary bond between Daniel and his lions. They see Caesar allowing Daniel to approach within touching distance, watch Luna's cubs playing fearlessly near their human protector, and witness the daily miracle of trust that exists between species that nature seemingly designed to be adversaries. The story has inspired a new generation of conservationists who understand that protecting wildlife isn't just about preserving species. It's about recognizing the incredible capacity for connection that exists between all living beings. As the African sun sets each evening over the Masai Mara, Daniel and his pride often rest together in comfortable silence. The man who once collapsed helplessly in the wilderness now sits surrounded by the very lions who refused to let him die. Their story reminds us that sometimes the greatest miracles aren't supernatural events. They're the extraordinary moments when love transcends every boundary we thought existed. In a world that often seems divided and cold, Daniel and his lions offer us hope. They show us that compassion isn't uniquely human, that loyalty can exist between species, and that sometimes, when we open our hearts to the wild world around us, that world opens its heart right back. Their bond continues to this day, a living testament to the truth that love, respect, and patience can create connections that defy our wildest imagination. Every sunrise brings new moments of wonder. Every sunset, another day of proof that miracles aren't just possible. They're happening all around us if only we have the eyes to see them. If this incredible story moved you, don't forget to subscribe for more amazing tales of the bond between humans and wildlife. Share this video with someone who needs to believe in miracles today. And let us know in the comments below, what's the most amazing animal encounter you've ever witnessed? Your story might just be our next video. Until next time, keep believing in the magic that exists when worlds collide in the most beautiful way possible.